Hey everyone, if you are gray or you're thinking about going gray, you are really going to enjoy today's video. I'm going to give you tips for keeping your grays gray, and I'm going to share with those folks who are just thinking about going gray how you might do it, the different choices you will have, and how to do it in your own unique way. If you're new to Beyond 50 Skin, welcome. My name is Cindy. Click that notification bell, subscribe, join the B50S community. We talk a little bit of makeup, lots of skincare, and all about health and happiness. So we are going to get started. Like I said, everything you need to know is down in the description box. It's under the Show More button. So go ahead and check down there after you've watched today's video. Would love if you'd throw this a like and a subscribe. So let's jump right into how to get going on your gray hair journey. Now, first, I'm going to start with an admission. It took me 3 times. I decided to go gray when I was about 27. I was really invested in it, and I just abandoned ship. I got some negative comments, and I did this about 3 times. But about a year ago, I was like, okay, I'm committed. So what helped me determine that I wanted to go gray? Number 1, I had support. Number 2, I had an idea of how to start. And number 3, I knew that if I didn't like it, it's just hair. I could just recolor it. So that's kind of the decision process that I went through on deciding whether I wanted to go gray or not at this point in my life. So you may be wondering the same thing, and you might be, do I really want to do this? Do I really want to commit? But there are lots of ways you can do it that you can go gray. They say gracefully. I would just say in your own unique way. So let's talk about hair in general. Why in the world does our hair go gray? So it's different for everyone. They used to think that it was on like the mother's gene pool or gene line, I don't know. But the genetics do play a part, but it could be your dad or your mom or a combination of both. But what you can do is kind of look around at your family members, and you can kind of get an idea of when when you're going to go gray. But for me, that didn't work. So I had family members that were graying at 20, and I had family members that are in their like 80s and have just a sparkling of gray. Like my mom, she just has like a little smattering of gray. So I didn't follow her gray journey at all. I was on my own unique journey. So that's what I want to share with you today, that everyone's gray hair journey is just completely unique. So what I do recommend is finding your tribe. That will really help, because this, for some people, it can be really kind of an emotional journey. So find people that are going to support you and that are going to help you along the way, or maybe have done it before you, and you can get tips and tricks. So that's what I want to do. Provide you sort of what I've learned along the way and guide you in your unique path. So like I said, we don't necessarily go gray because our mom or our dad did. It's a combo of genetics. So look around your family, you can get an idea of like kind of how your gray journey might go, but it's really going to be your unique path. So we have 2 types of melanin in our hair shaft, and it's either pheomelanin or eumelanin. And if you have eumelanin, you're kind of going to be on the more brunette side. And if you have pheomelanin, you're going to be blonde, redheaded. So those are the 2 types of melanin. So just a quick review on how these 2 types of melanin get into our hair shaft to give us the color that we have, or don't, over the process of aging, get into our hair shaft and produce the color that we have. So we have melanocytes. They produce either one of those types of melanin, and in the process of keratinization to get into the bulb of the hair shaft and give us the color, there is a little chemical reaction that happens, and it produces hydrogen peroxide, and it's broken down by an enzyme, catalase. But as we age, we don't have as much catalase anymore, so we don't, the hydrogen peroxide doesn't get broken down, and the hair color just starts to diminish, and we just don't have as much color in our hair. So that's just a quick chemistry lesson. So as we age, we lose pigment in our hair. That's the bottom line. It's very rare that people don't at all turn a little bit gray, but like I said before, depending on your genetics and sometimes your lifestyle, they've connected smoking with premature graying. So depending on your genetics and your lifestyle, this process of the loss of melanin in your hair shaft will happen at a different rate for everybody. So that's a little bit about the chemistry of how our hair gets colored and how our hair goes gray. So now we're down to like, okay, we've decided that we're thinking about going gray. What are our different options? So let's review all the options that you have for choosing your unique path. So let's review just sort of the broad options that you have, and then we're going to dive into some DIY ideas I have for you, whether you're blonde or brunette, or if you'd rather do the salon method, then I'll talk about a few of the methods that they use in the salon. So number 1, you can go cold turkey. You can let it grow out a bit and get a pixie cut or a bob and go that way. I did that in the end. I started out sort of like slowly chopping away my color and then just gave up and just went for a pixie cut. The other way you can do it is the grow at ombre method. If you have long hair and you love your long hair and you can do the grow at ombre method and handle the demarcation line, then that might be for you. It isn't for everyone. Cold turkey definitely isn't for everyone. The ombre method is really hard if you're a professional and you don't have the opportunity to have sort of some people that are in your tribe and understand kind of what you're going through. So each of those methods can be pretty tough and just might not be your unique choice. The other method is the strip dye method, and I'm going to show you that method where you, if you have longer hair, this is going to work for you, where you strip just a certain section of your hair, and I'm going to talk in depth about that. The other way is you can head over to a salon and they can do lowlights and highlights and kind of blend your dyed color with your gray. And that is a very pretty option too. Or you can go hardcore and do the reverse dye method where they strip out all your old color. You have to have very unique hair. You have to have a professional that really knows what they're doing and they have a lot of experience in that method before you do that. So those are the broad, general ways you can go gray. So let's dive down into what I'm going to recommend for blondes. So how do you start? So what I say is just part your hair, see what's coming in, and then you'll have an idea of which direction to go. If you part your hair and you're more gray than you are pepper, you might enjoy doing some at-home dyes where you get just lighter and lighter and lighter. And that's what I did. I had sort of, I guess, a light brown colored hair. Then what I did is I slowly transitioned to more of a redhead and then more of a strawberry blonde and then blonde. So I did this over many, many years. And I had some backslides. I would go back to kind of a light brunette and then I would go sort of toward a redhead and then a light strawberry blonde. So I bounced back and forth 3 years. And the color that I used to do this was a Clairol color. Occasionally I would step into the salon and have them help me out, but I typically use the Clairol brand. And when I finally decided to try to go gray, what I did is I just transitioned my hair to a very light blonde. And in my last, I would say 5 or 6 years, when I was sort of on the fence about letting it really go gray, I had about 5 or 6 years where I was completely blonde. And that blonde sort of transitioned from kind of a 9 AA with ash color to a 10 AAA with ash color. So it was really almost close to white by the time I decided to really pull the plug and go fully gray. And that's a lovely way to do it. I love the Clairol colors and I will link them down below and you can take a look at those. And I did that, like I said, I went from sort of a light brown to a red to blonde and I sort of transitioned that way until I was ready to go full bore, cut off all the blonde and go for the full gray look. And I did that in a pixie cut eventually, went from bob to pixie because I was getting a little impatient. And my hair was actually really damaged from all the coloring over the years. The ends were looking terrible. It really wasn't healthy anymore. I had gotten a perm in between there. I'll show you a picture. It's pretty funny. But I decided to do a little retro back to the 80s look for a little while and I did a perm for a while. So that was my process and that might be one that works for you. If you part your hair and you're seeing a lot more pepper than you are salt, then you might think about doing the strip dye method. I think that is a fabulous method. I'm going to link a video or two below on how to do it, but basically you can use the Clairol brand color that I recommend, or you can also use a new color that I've noticed that's really, really popular. I'm going to link that down below. It looks fabulous. It has 30,000 reviews and it's got 5 stars. So if I were doing this transition and I was a brunette, I think I would try this particular at-home dye collection. It looks fabulous. If I were doing the strip dye method, I would be using this. So, and actually, I wish I had known about the strip dye method. I might have been able just to trim all the bad ends off my hair and have done this myself because this, though I'm recommending it for brunettes, blondes can do it too. But the key is you have to have kind of longish hair and not too many layers. So if you're going to try the strip dye method where you dye about 2 inches of your strip, a strip of color, you're going to leave the same color that you've been dyeing your hair. And what you're going to do is you're going to dye just that section. You're going to pull out about 2 inches and it only works with the side part. So the center part, it's not going to work very well. So what you're going to do is you're going to dye just this section the way you've always been doing it. And you do this section and put a little Vaseline on either side so that your color doesn't transfer. So go ahead and apply your dye in about a 2-inch wide stripe, maybe 2.5 inches of stripe. And you're going to do that as normal. And then you're going to part that and pull it over the gray that's growing out underneath, and it will give you kind of gray peekaboo highlights. It's a beautiful method for doing it. Like I said, if I had known about this at the time, I would have definitely chosen this method if I could have kept my hair in really good condition. So it's a really cool method, like I said, and if you have long hair and you just can't even bear the thought of cutting it off, this is a fantastic method for going gray. So, like I said, you dye just this strip, you part it, and you part it over the hair that's growing out underneath, and then when you're ready to show your grays, you just part it on the opposite side and flip it over, and then all your gray hair will cascade over the lower lights that you probably will still be peeking through from the section that you dyed, and you can just carry on that way, and you can stop dyeing this section, and as you flip it over, the part that you have been dyeing will slowly grow out. So that is a really cool method. Like I said, I hadn't heard about it until more recently. And like I said, if I'd known, I totally probably would have done this. Okay, so I've mentioned the strip dye method. I've mentioned the going gray gracefully with sort of the color transition method. But let me give you a few ideas on products as you do this, because as we let the color grow out of our hair can either kind of get a little bit yellow or it can get a little bit brassy and orange. So really, no matter which way you're doing it, even if you're using a salon, even if you're going to the salon and having them done, the color fades out of our hair, especially as it starts to get gray, and will turn, usually if we have dark hair, it will start to turn a little bit orange. So you want to think about shampoos that are blue-based shampoos. So on the color wheel, orange or blue cancels the orange color. If you are growing out your hair and you're seeing it turn a little bit more toward the yellowish side as it's growing out, then you're going to want to think about purple shampoo. Especially tips and tricks now here for those of us who are already gray and seeing a lot of yellow. Purple shampoo is going to really help you. Now you need to, when you're thinking about either blue or purple tinted shampoos or tints, or rinses, you need to think about the condition of your hair. If your hair is not in great condition and it's porous and dry, which can happen as our gray hairs grow in, they're different textures, they have different porosity, lots of things are changing as we sort of discover the dye being removed from our hair. If it's brittle, if it's drier, if it's coarser, then you want to think about the pigment, the amount of pigment that is in the coloring shampoo that you're choosing. I'm going to show you that Fanola No Yellow has a lot of pigment. It is super, super pigmented. Compared to Pureology's Color Fantastic, this is a new product that I picked up. And it's just not quite as, whoops, let me undo this top here. It's just not quite as pigmented. So like I said, when you're looking for a tint to get rid of some of that brassiness and some of that color, then you're going to want to think of something. You're going to want to look at a shampoo and look at how much pigment are in each of those shampoos or the toners that you're using. So let's just recap on if you're in the middle of doing your grow out and you're turning a little bit yellow, you want to go for purple. If you're turning a little bit brassy, you want to go for a blue shampoo, conditioner, or toner. One I really enjoy that is also a little less pigmented and purple is the Fanola conditioner. This is actually a foam conditioner. You know me and foam, I guess. I don't know. I just really love this conditioner. The other thing you want to think about is the weight of the conditioner. Since your hair is going to be a different texture, it might sit a little flat as you put conditioner on, so you might want to experiment with different conditioners. I love the Pureology products, but their Hydrate is now a little bit too heavy of a conditioner for me, so I've gone to the Fanola lighter weight foam conditioner and had a little bit better luck. Another thing that you're going to find is because the difference in the texture, etc., and the different haircut you might be going through, or different haircuts you might be trying, is getting a dry texture shampoo, a dry texture spray. I have loved this for just a quick style. It gives a little volume to the crown area because, like I said, my hair is a little bit thinner, a little bit more brittle, and I just love this by Kenra, the dry texture spray. It just gives a little vavoom to your hairstyle. I've really been enjoying that. Now this has a light scent. I'd say it's kind of a light, maybe fruity scent. I'm terrible about defining scents, but it's a light fruity one. The Orbi has one and I can't take it. It's such a strong, deep, woodsy smell. People love it, but I personally, it's just too much of a sensorial experience for me. I can't deal with it. So let's just recap on all the different ways that you can decide to go gray in your own unique way. First, you can go cold turkey. More power to you if you can do that. Like I said, that took me 3 times. You can do the grow out method, the ombre method, and just have fun with it. There are people that just are enjoying it. They're like, I'm doing this. Everybody just deal with it. So, and they're doing the ombre method and it's going great. If you're doing that method as it grows out too, don't forget that your ends are going to start turning different colors. Usually lightning going to brassy. So make sure you pick up some of the purple shampoo or the blue shampoo. Probably blue, because the ombre on the bottom is going to go a little brassy. The blue shampoos and the blue conditioners will help you kind of tone that down a little bit, unless you're enjoying the brassy look, and go with it. Okay, so the other is the strip dye method, where I was telling you about. I'm going to link a video down below where you dye the 2 inches and you kind of grow out your gray in secret. That works for long hair. Short hair, that's not going to work very well for. And it also, you can be blonde or brunette, either way, and your grays underneath that are growing out are going to kind of show through like peekaboo highlights. So like I said, if I had known, I would have probably done that method. The other method is to zip on over to a salon, have them do an analysis of your hair, go to someone who really has done this tons of times before. Don't let this be someone's first try, because stripping out the color of your hair and redepositing sort of something that approaches gray and retoning it back is a huge process. And sometimes people go to the salon for multiple days at a time, or over a period of time, go back to the salon to slowly do it. It's something that can't always be done in one day. So you need to find a salon expert that is really good at stripping that dye out and retoning your hair correctly without it actually breaking off and falling completely out. And the other method is doing the low light highlight method, where you just send a camouflage as you're growing out and have the salon put in low lights and highlights. So I hope you found today's video helpful, and if you're deciding to go gray, I hope these tips have helped you decide how to approach it in your unique way, and that you feel like you found your tribe. Please leave comments down below. I'll chat with you about my experience, and you can share what you're going through. I'd love to hear from you. Also, I'll share all my products down below that I like to use to kind of keep that yellow out of my gray hair. Also, if you're thinking about the strip dye method that I talked about, I will link the videos down below for that method, and also 2 of the dye coloring products that I would recommend if you're deciding to go that way. One was the Clairol one that I used. If I had known about this method, I would totally use that through the whole process for my transition. And also the new coloring product that I found online. I think it's called eColor Salon. I'm pretty sure that's the name of it. And I'll link that down below because that looks fantastic. The reviews are like through the stratosphere. I don't see many complaints at all. So I'll link all this stuff down below in the description box. Thanks for joining me today, and let me know if you're considering your unique gray hair journey and what your thoughts are. Take care, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Bye.